Lucas Bennett's hands were shaking as he stared at his phone screen, watching his entire world collapse in real time. The notification counter wouldn't stop spinning. 700 messages. 800. 900. Every single one of them was destroying him. His assistant had stopped answering. His lawyers had gone silent. And the video, that cursed video, had been viewed 43 million times in the last 6 hours. Before we continue the story, please subscribe and tell me where you are watching from in the comments. He watched it again even though he'd already seen it 1,000 times. The white delivery van with his company logo. The intersection. The SUV running the red light. The sickening crunch of metal. The woman's body thrown 30 feet across the pavement. And then the close-up shot that someone had captured on their phone. The driver stumbling out, eyes unfocused, movements sluggish. The comments were vicious. Another slave worked to death by Bennett Logistics. Blood money billionaire. Hope he rots in prison. Lucas threw his phone across the stripped apartment. It hit the bare wall and clattered to the floor, still buzzing with incoming notifications. This morning he'd been worth $4.2 billion. Tonight he owned nothing but the clothes on his back and a scandal that would follow him to his grave. The apartment was corporate housing. Sterile, cold, emptied of everything personal by order of the interim board. They'd locked him out of his penthouse within hours of the investigation going public. His key cards didn't work. His passwords had been changed. Even his own security team had been instructed not to let him into Bennett Tower. 23 years of building an empire. Gone in a single day. Lucas walked to the floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. Somewhere down there his company headquarters glowed with his name in 20-foot letters. Bennett Logistics. The name that had meant speed, precision, ruthless efficiency. The name that now meant corruption, negligence, manslaughter. His reflection stared back at him, a 41-year-old man who looked 60. Gray had appeared at his temples sometime between the morning board meeting and the afternoon interrogation. His tie was loose. His $5,000 suit was wrinkled. His eyes were bloodshot from reading legal documents that he didn't understand but knew were destroying him. The investigators had found everything. Falsified safety reports going back 3 years. Manipulated delivery data that pushed drivers beyond legal working hours. Forged maintenance records on vehicles that should have been pulled from service. And every single document bore his digital signature. Lucas had tried to explain. He'd never seen those reports. He'd never approved those schedules. He had compliance officers, safety directors, entire departments dedicated to preventing exactly this kind of disaster. But the digital trail didn't lie. His credentials. His approval timestamps. His authorization codes. The lead investigator had looked at him with something close to pity. Mr. Bennett, either you're criminally negligent or you're a criminal. Either way you're finished. The IPO had been suspended at 11 a.m. Trading halted by noon. Assets frozen by 2 p.m. Criminal charges filed by 4. Board vote of no confidence by 6. By 8 p.m., Lucas Bennett no longer controlled Bennett Logistics. His phone buzzed again from across the room. He ignored it. On the glass coffee table sat a single sheet of paper. A resignation letter drafted by the one lawyer who'd bothered to return his calls before disappearing into the night. All it needed was his signature. Sign it and he could walk away from criminal prosecution. Sign it and the company could move forward without him. Sign it and Lucas Bennett would cease to exist in the business world forever. He picked up the pen. His hand hovered over the signature line. 23 years. He'd started Bennett Logistics in a garage with a used truck and a dream of revolutionizing shipping. He'd worked 100-hour weeks. Missed birthdays, weddings, funerals. Sacrificed relationships, health, everything for the company. And now they wanted him to erase himself with a single signature. The pen touched paper. Then came the knock. Lucas froze. Nobody knew he was here. The board had stashed him in this corporate apartment specifically because it was off the books. A place they used for visiting executives and disgraced employees who needed to disappear quietly. The knock came again. Firm but not aggressive. Lucas set down the pen and walked to the door. Through the peephole he saw a woman in a blue jacket with a tablet tucked under her arm. She looked tired, frustrated, and very much like she didn't want to be there. He opened the door. "Lucas Bennett?" she asked, glancing at her tablet. "Who's asking?" "Delivery." She held up a small package. This has been bouncing around the system for 3 days. Rerouted twice, sent to the wrong warehouse, nearly got shipped back to sender. I'm sorry it's late. Lucas almost laughed. A delivery. To him. On the night his delivery company had destroyed him. I didn't order anything, he said. Yeah, well, somebody did. And apparently it's urgent because my supervisor made me drive across the city to get it to you tonight. She thrust the package toward him. Just sign here. Lucas took the tablet from her. The screen showed a standard delivery confirmation form. But something about it looked wrong. The routing codes were jumbled. The timestamp didn't match the delivery schedule. And the priority flag was set to a level he'd never seen before. This doesn't make sense, he said slowly. The delivery woman sighed. Tell me about it. Your company's system has been a nightmare for 3 days. Nothing's routing correctly. Packages disappearing, reappearing, getting sent in circles. I've been doing this job for 8 months and I've never seen it this broken. Lucas looked up sharply. What do you mean broken? I mean your system is corrupted. Or someone's messing with it. Packages that should take 2 hours are taking 2 days. Priority codes getting scrambled. GPS coordinates sending drivers to empty lots. He gestured at the tablet. This delivery, for example. According to your system, it shouldn't exist. What? She turned the tablet toward him and scrolled through the routing data. Look. This package was logged 3 days ago with standard processing. But then it hit some kind of loop. Every time the system tried to assign it to a driver, it got kicked back. Wrong zone. Wrong priority. Wrong everything. It's like something was actively blocking it from being delivered. Lucas stared at the screen. His mind, trained by decades of logistics analysis, started seeing patterns. The routing codes weren't random. They were following a specific sequence. A sequence that shouldn't exist in his company's software. Who are you? He asked. Maya Torres. Why? You're not just a delivery driver. Maya's expression shifted. Something guarded moved behind her eyes. I deliver packages. That's the job. But you understand data routing. You know system architecture. You're reading raw backend code like it's a shopping list. Lucas met her gaze. Who are you really? For a long moment Maya didn't answer. Then she sighed and leaned against the doorframe. I used to be a data routing engineer for Titan Courier Systems. 5 years, worked my way up to senior developer. I designed their entire GPS optimization protocol. She smiled bitterly. Then I found out the executives were manipulating delivery times to squeeze drivers and falsifying customer data to boost metrics. I reported it. They fired me, blacklisted me in the industry, and I ended up driving for the gig economy because nobody else would hire me. Lucas felt something cold settle in his chest. You were a whistleblower. Yeah. And it destroyed my career. She straightened up. Look, I don't need your pity or a speech about integrity. I just need you to sign for this package so I can finish my shift. But Lucas wasn't listening anymore. He was staring at the tablet, at the impossible routing codes, at the digital fingerprints of something very wrong buried in his company's system. You said someone was blocking this delivery, he said quietly. That's what it looks like. Could you trace it? Find out who? Maya laughed. Are you serious? I'm a delivery driver with a high school laptop and a prayer. I don't have access to. I do. Lucas stepped back and gestured into the apartment. I still have my personal archive. Complete back-end access to every system in the company. They locked me out of the live network, but they didn't think to revoke my read-only credentials for historical data. Maya hesitated in the doorway. Why would you want me to? Because I didn't do it. The words came out raw, desperate. I didn't falsify those reports. I didn't manipulate that data. But someone did using my credentials. And if you're right, if someone's been manipulating the system, then maybe you were framed, Maya finished. Lucas nodded. Maya looked at him for a long moment. Then she checked her watch. I've got 19 minutes before my next delivery window. And I'm probably insane for doing this. She stepped inside. Show me what you've got. Lucas grabbed his laptop from the coffee table and opened it. His fingers flew across the keyboard, entering password after password, breaking through security layers that he'd designed himself. Within seconds he had the back-end database open. Maya leaned over his shoulder. Pull up the accident report. The original filing. Lucas navigated to the incident database and found the fatal accident from 3 days ago. The driver's name was David Chin. 32 years old. Married. 2 kids. He'd been working for Bennett Logistics for 4 years. Look at his schedule, Maya said, pointing at the screen. Lucas pulled up David Chen's delivery schedule for the week of the accident. His stomach dropped. 18-hour shifts. Back-to-back days without rest. Routes that crisscrossed the city in patterns that made no sense. It was a schedule designed to break someone. I never approved this, Lucas whispered. Check the approval signature. Lucas clicked through to the authorization record. There it was. His digital signature, his credential code, his timestamp. Approved by Lucas Bennett at 3 a.m. on a Sunday morning. I was in Tokyo that weekend, Lucas said. I couldn't have. Someone used your credentials, Maya interrupted. She leaned closer, scrolling through the code. Look at the IP address. That's not your usual login location. Lucas felt his heart hammering. Can you trace it? Maybe. Pull up your credential usage logs for the last 6 months. Lucas opened the security archive and exported the access logs. Thousands of entries scrolled past. Every time his credentials had been used to approve documents, authorize spending, sign off on reports. Maya studied the data with the intensity of someone reading a crime scene. Her fingers traced patterns on the screen. Her lips moved silently as she calculated something. Then she stopped. There, she said, pointing. See that? Every Friday at midnight there's a credential usage spike. Hundreds of approvals in a 2-hour window. But the IP address is different from your normal logins. Lucas zoomed in. He was right. Every Friday, like clockwork, someone had been using his credentials to mass-approve documents. Who has access to your credential tokens? Maya asked. Only my executive operations team. 3 people. Lucas felt sick. Oh God. Maya was already typing, pulling up personnel records. Names. Richard Voss, Chief Operations Officer. Jennifer Hartley, VP of Safety Compliance. And Marcus Webb, Director of Fleet Management. Maya cross-referenced the suspicious IP addresses with employee network logs. It took her less than a minute. Marcus Webb, she said quietly. Every single fraudulent approval came from an IP address registered to his home network. Lucas couldn't breathe. Marcus had been with him since the beginning. They'd started the company together. Marcus was the one who'd convinced him to expand, to prioritize speed, to push the drivers harder. Marcus was the one who'd told him not to worry about the small details. Pull up his financial records, Maya said. Her voice had gone cold, professional. If he was falsifying safety data, he was doing it for a reason. Lucas hesitated. That's protected information. I could go to jail for... You're already going to jail, Maya said flatly. Unless you can prove someone set you up. So pull up his records. Lucas opened the HR database and accessed Marcus Webb's financial information. Salary, bonuses, stock options, all standard for a C-level executive. Then Maya pointed at something buried in the expense reports. What's SRG Consulting? She asked. Lucas clicked on the line item. SRG Consulting had been paid $800,000 over 3 years for fleet optimization services. I've never heard of them, Lucas said. Maya did a quick search on her phone. SRG Consulting doesn't exist. No website, no business registration, no corporate filings. It's a shell company. Marcus was embezzling. Not just embezzling. He was paying off someone. Maya's fingers flew across the laptop keyboard, digging deeper into the company's financial records. Look at the payment schedule. Every time SRG Consulting got paid, your company's safety inspection budget got cut. And every time the budget got cut, your fleet maintenance got deferred. Lucas saw it now. The whole terrible picture. Marcus had been cutting corners, falsifying safety reports, pushing drivers beyond their limits, all to skim money from the company's operations budget. And he'd used Lucas's credentials to cover his tracks. The accident wasn't random, Lucas said slowly. David Chin was driving a vehicle that should have been in the shop. On a schedule that no sane person would approve. And when it all went wrong, Marcus made sure your digital signature was on everything, Maya finished. You were the perfect fall guy. The ruthless billionaire who valued profit over people. Lucas stood up, his mind racing. I need to call my lawyer. I need to get this evidence to the investigators. I need to. You need to move fast, Maya interrupted. He checked her watch. I've been here 11 minutes. If Marcus is monitoring your activity, he already knows someone's digging through his records. As if on cue, Lucas's phone buzzed. He picked it up. A text message from an unknown number. I know what you're doing. It won't work. Delete the evidence and sign the resignation, or everyone you care about pays the price. Lucas showed Maya the message. Her expression didn't change. Screenshot everything. Download the files to a secure drive. We need to move now. He's going to run, Lucas said. Then we need to make sure the evidence gets to the investigators before he does. Maya grabbed her tablet and opened a new screen. I've got contacts at the state regulatory office. People who helped me when I was whistleblowing against Titan. They'll know what to do with this. Lucas's hands were steady now. The fear had burned away, replaced by something colder. He downloaded every file, every record, every piece of evidence that proved Marcus Webb had framed him. Maya was already on the phone with someone, her voice low and urgent. Yeah, it's Torres. I need an emergency evidence submission. Corporate fraud, falsified safety records, possible manslaughter charges. No, I'm with the primary target. He's been framed. Yes, I'm sure. Because I traced the digital fingerprints myself. Lucas zipped the files and encrypted them with a password only he knew. Then he sent copies to 3 different secure locations. His personal cloud storage, his lawyer's encrypted server, and a backup drive that Maya provided. Done, he said. Maya ended her call. My contact is sending investigators to Marcus Webb's house right now. They'll have a warrant within the hour. Lucas sat down heavily. The adrenaline was fading, leaving him exhausted. Why are you helping me? Maya was quiet for a moment. Because I know what it's like to lose everything for something you didn't do. And because... She gestured at the laptop. That routing code I saw? Someone tried to block this package from reaching you. They didn't want you to get whatever's inside. Lucas had forgotten about the package. It sat on the coffee table, small and innocuous. He picked it up and tore it open. Inside was a USB drive and a handwritten note. The note said, Lucas, I couldn't stay silent anymore. This contains everything Marcus did. I'm sorry I didn't come forward sooner. I was afraid. But you deserve to know the truth. Sarah Klein. His former compliance director. She'd resigned 6 months ago, citing personal reasons. Lucas plugged in a USB drive. Contained thousands of files. Internal memos from Marcus Webb ordering safety inspections to be skipped. Emails discussing how to manipulate Lucas's digital credentials. Financial spreadsheets showing the embezzlement scheme. And recordings, actual voice recordings, of Marcus discussing how to set up Lucas to take the fall if anything went wrong. This is everything, Lucas said, his voice barely a whisper. This proves all of it. Maya was already sending the files to her regulatory contact. They'll have everything they need for prosecution. Marcus Webb is done. Lucas leaned back and closed his eyes. Relief flooded through him, so intense it hurt. Thank you, he said. When he opened his eyes, Maya was putting on her jacket. Wait, Lucas said. Where are you going? I've got 4 more deliveries tonight. And I'm already 20 minutes behind schedule. I'll pay you. Anything you want. A job, a consulting fee. I don't want your money, Maya said quietly. She picked up her tablet. I did this because it was right. Not because I expected a reward. But you saved me. You saved my company. No. I helped you find evidence that you were framed. What you do with your company is up to you. She headed for the door, then paused. But if you're smart, you'll remember how this happened. You built a system that valued speed over safety. That treated drivers like machines instead of people. Marcus exploited that system. But you created it. The words hit Lucas like a physical blow. Maya opened the door. Good luck, Mr. Bennett. Wait, what's your full name? Your contact information. But Maya Torres was already gone, disappearing into the hallway like she'd never been there at all. Lucas stood alone in the apartment, surrounded by evidence of his betrayal and his salvation. His phone buzzed. A call from his lawyer. Lucas. The investigators just called. They've arrested Marcus Webb. The charges against you are being dropped. The board wants an emergency meeting. They're talking about reinstating you. Lucas barely heard the rest. He walked to the window and stared out at the city. Somewhere down there, Maya Torres was delivering packages. Working a job she was overqualified for because she'd stood up for what was right and paid the price. And Lucas had almost signed away everything without ever knowing the truth. He picked up the resignation letter from the coffee table and tore it in half. 6 weeks later, Lucas Bennett stood in front of the Bennett Logistics Board of Directors. The IPO had been reinstated. Marcus Webb and 2 other executives were facing criminal charges. The company's stock had recovered. Lucas was officially cleared of all wrongdoing. But he wasn't the same man. "I'm proposing a complete restructuring," Lucas said, clicking to the next slide. "We're eliminating all performance metrics that incentivize unsafe driving. We're implementing a transparent reporting system for safety violations. And we're launching the Torres Initiative, a whistleblower protection program named after someone who showed me what integrity actually looks like." The board members shifted uncomfortably. "We're also increasing driver pay by 30%, capping work hours at 8 per shift, and hiring 200 additional drivers to reduce workload. Yes, it will cut into profits. Yes, it will slow down our delivery times. And yes, it's non-negotiable." "Lucas," the interim chairwoman said carefully, "we understand you've been through trauma. But these changes would fundamentally alter our business model." "Good," Lucas interrupted. "Because our business model almost destroyed innocent lives. Including mine." He advanced to the final slide. It showed a photograph of David Chin, the driver who died in the accident, smiling with his wife and children. "This is who we forgot about," Lucas said quietly. "This is who paid the price for our efficiency. And I won't build another empire on the backs of people like him." The vote was close. But it passed. 3 months later, Lucas stood outside a small apartment building in a neighborhood he'd never visited before. He'd spent weeks tracking down Maya Torres. She didn't have social media. She'd changed delivery companies twice. She seemed determined to stay invisible. But Lucas Bennett had built a logistics empire. He knew how to find people. He knocked on the door. Maya answered, wearing sweatpants and a t-shirt, looking annoyed. "Mr. Bennett, I should have known you'd track me down. I wanted to say thank you. Properly. You already restructured your entire company. I heard about the Torres Initiative. That's thanks enough." "It's not." Lucas held out an envelope. "This is a job offer. Chief Data Systems Officer. You'd oversee all our routing software, safety protocols, and driver welfare programs. Full executive compensation, equity stake, and complete authority to rebuild our systems from the ground up." Maya didn't take the envelope. "I'm a delivery driver. You're a data engineer who got blacklisted for doing the right thing. Let me fix that. I don't want to work for a corporation again." "Then don't. Work for the drivers. Work for people like David Chin. Work for everyone who gets chewed up by systems that value speed over humanity." Lucas met her eyes. "I'm offering you the power to change things. Really change them. Isn't that worth it?" Maya stared at him for a long moment. Then she took the envelope. "I'll read it," she said. "No promises." Lucas smiled. "That's all I ask." 6 months later, Bennett Logistics had transformed. Driver satisfaction was up. Safety incidents were down. Delivery times were slightly slower, but customer loyalty had increased because people trusted the company again. And Maya Torres sat in an executive office she'd designed herself. No corporate coldness, just windows, plants, and workstations where her team built software that protected workers instead of exploiting them. Lucas visited her office one afternoon with a question he'd been avoiding. "Why did you really help me that night?" he asked. "You didn't know me. You had no reason to trust me. You could have just delivered the package and left." Maya leaned back in her chair. "You want the truth?" "Always. I didn't help you because I thought you deserved it. I helped you because I recognized the look on your face." She smiled slightly. "It's the same look I had when Titan destroyed my career. Lost. Betrayed. Wondering if you'd ever matter again. And I decided that nobody should feel that way alone. Even a billionaire." She turned back to her computer. "Now get out of my office. I've got code to write." Lucas laughed and headed for the door. Then Maya's voice stopped him. "Lucas. He turned. That package, she said quietly. The one I delivered that night. I lied about the routing codes being corrupted. Lucas froze. What? I checked the delivery address 3 times because I thought it was wrong. Nobody sends packages to corporate housing. And when I saw your name I knew who you were. I'd been following the scandal. Maya met his eyes. I could have just left it at the front desk. But I saw the way the routing had been manipulated and I got curious. So I knocked. You came up on purpose. I came up because I recognized a frame job when I saw one. And I thought maybe, just maybe, you deserved a chance to fight back. She smiled. Call it whistleblower solidarity. Lucas didn't know what to say. Tao, get out, Maya repeated. Some of us have work to do. That night Lucas stood in his penthouse. The real one, the one he'd been locked out of 6 months ago, and looked out at the city. Bennett Tower still glowed with his name. But now it meant something different. His phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. We need to talk about expansion. Your model is working. Other companies are noticing. Some want to replicate it. Others want to destroy it. You've made enemies, Lucas. Powerful ones. Call me when you're ready to deal with them. A friend, ***. Lucas stared at the message. Then he forwarded it to Maya with a simple question. Recognize this routing signature? Her response came back within seconds. That's not routing code. That's a threat. Where did you get this? Lucas typed his reply. Someone who knows what we're building. Question is, are they trying to help or hurt us? The 3 dots appeared, then disappeared, then appeared again. Finally, either way we'll need proof before we move. I'll start digging. Don't respond to them yet. Lucas set down his phone and looked out at the city again. 6 months ago he'd lost everything in a single day. A delivery driver had saved him in 10 minutes. And now he was rebuilding something bigger than an empire. He was building a system that actually worked for the people inside it. But someone out there didn't want that system to succeed. And Lucas had no idea who they were. He picked up his phone and typed one more message to Maya. Whatever's coming, we face it together. Her response was immediate. Damn right we do. Lucas smiled. Then he opened his laptop and started reviewing security protocols. Because if 6 months had taught him anything, it was that the people you trust can destroy you, and the people you overlook can save you. And somewhere in this city someone was watching. Someone who knew too much. Someone who'd just made their first move. Lucas Bennett had survived betrayal once. Now he had to figure out who was coming for him next, and whether he could stop them before they destroyed everything he'd rebuilt. The cursor blinked on his screen. And in the reflection of the window, Lucas saw his own eyes staring back. Determined, wary, and finally understanding the truth. The real war wasn't over. It was just beginning.